Okay, I don't want this to be 15 minutes long like last time. I didn't do much today, earnestly this time. I was trying to work on the foreign nation system, and this is as much as I got done. So I was having so much decision paralysis on like how it could work because I don't want the foreign nation to be this whole simulated thing just because it's a lot of work, and also I think it's also unnecessary. Um, so I think I'm just going to set some like randomized values and set some drift, except for these two. We don't need that to drift. I think these three do need to drift. And then the envoys is the biggest thing that I was having issues with because the envoys have like an interaction system. Basically, I want this foreign nation consequence to affect these things, but I also the big problem with what's going on with envoys, why I'm struggling with it so much, is because I want an envoy when they get to you to fire off some consequences, which is easy, right? Because the player is actually selecting the consequences that they want to fire off just by the same interaction menu, right? So that's easy. I don't know how we can get that feature to work with this foreign nation system, which is the thing that is driving me crazy because how are we going to calculate the consequences, or how are we going to determine what consequences this foreign nation picks? So obviously it has to do something with the favor rating, but also, is that it? Just make somebody like you and then they will always pick the best option. I feel like that's so uninteresting, right? But then we have these three different values, and I feel like they should somehow play a role in deciding what foreign consequence the foreign nation is going to pick whenever you send an envoy out to them, right? Another thing that I'm struggling with is how do we even determine the foreign nation consequences for envoys that are getting sent to us? You know, um, because we can't do it. We could spawn it, but like, how do we determine over here? Like, hey, actually, this day, this foreign nation actually does want to send an envoy out to us. It's just a bunch of questions, and I don't know the answer to any of the questions. And I knew this was going to be a big problem, so I am thinking about it. I'm just thinking about it. I don't know if I'm gonna do this. I don't want to do this, but I'm just this is just a bunch of questions that I don't know the answer to. I'm thinking about removing the concept of foreign nations as a concept, period. Because it just seems like a lot of stuff, and also maybe our simulation is already interesting enough without the foreign nations. That's my thought process. I don't know if I should or shouldn't go down that road, but that's my thought. Um, so didn't do much because I was decision paralysis today. That's basically everything for me today. But I did finally go to the interactions, and I think I landed on a nice interaction layout for all of our interactions, and I made it look nicer. So this is it. Look at that. Woo! Look at this. So interactions are now laid out more nicely. So we have different options, and we can actually switch between pages for the different options. So let's say we're in NPC responses. These are all the responses. This was already added before, but now it just looks nicer. Uh, all the same features except for this. I actually did switch out the factions to be specific enum, so we can have this drop down. And I also mess around a lot with these what is it called, with these values, just make it easier to read and to hide, you know. um so these are the kingdom consequences, a lot simpler than the faction consequences. Is it a lot simpler? Maybe it's just because there's literally one thing. Okay, and then also we have the responses. I think this system is laid out a lot easier, and we can switch between the different options that the player gets, and we can change the individual options of faction consequences and kingdom consequences. Um, but all of it was working before. I made some minor changes with the faction consequences, adding the enums, and that's it. That's it. that's basically all I did, but it just looks nicer now. And that's it. Um, big Sag today. Not a lot done, so I will try better tomorrow, and we'll see tomorrow if I actually do end up implementing that for a nation. And if not, no, you can't be racist. Racism is turned off in the kingdom, which would be sad. We love racism. Okay, bye.